Tell us about your first gay experience.
Oh, fuck. Well, I can do that one. I can actually do that one. It'll be really good. I remember it was yesterday. Well, it was like yesterday, I mean. I was probably around 19 years old, and I was already having a good time in college. It was my freshman year, and I met a couple of people, and they seemed to be alright guys. 2 or 3 guys on the football team invited me to a party that evening. And I said, you know, what the hell? I don't have any friends here. We all went to different colleges. So I think it'd be a good idea to start networking. So I went to that party that night. And I saw the 3 guys who invited me. It was Tim, Eric, and Charlie. Eric was the only person who was there that was actually an interesting person, because we had the same interests. We both liked video games, we both enjoyed a great deal cooking, and we both very, very, very strongly believed that poetry was the best art in the world. And during that night, we were at his frat house, and it was a really big party. The music was playing and everything was so swell. I could just feel the breeze in my hair. The bass, the subwoofers were bursting all of the solo cups off the table. I was jumping up and down with a lot of fun, and boy, Eric was right by my side, and he was just the best person I've met in college yet. And I say yet because, as I noticed, there were 2 women walking out of the restroom. And I said, "Who are those, Eric?" And he responded, "Well, that's Tiffany and Stephanie. They're my 2 sisters." And I said, "Really? They're both sisters, huh?" And he goes, "Well, one's biological and the other one's stepsister." And I go, "Oh, all right." So I walk over to them and I introduce myself. They look at me, and Stephanie, she's kind of shying away, but Tiffany, she looks at me and she goes, "Wow." And I said, "What?" She goes, "You're pretty cute." And I said, "Well, thank you, Tiffany." And she said, "Absolutely. You know, how about you come over to, my place tonight, away from this party?" And I said, "All right." So I went over to Tiffany's place along with Stephanie, because she wanted to tag along. Eric said he would meet up with us in an hour. And so I went into their apartment and shut the door. And I said, "So what are we doing?" And they dragged me by the collar into the bedroom, and I said, "Oh boy, what is going on here?" And Tiffany started to take off her shirt. And I was like, "I like where this is going. This is not bad. Are you Eric's biological sister or stepsister? So, I know if it's okay to do this, because, I just met Eric." And she goes, "Does it really matter, hun?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess not." And so Tiffany was undressing, and I looked over at Stephanie, and she was also undressing. And I was enjoying myself a great deal. I would say that my dick had essentially destroyed the Richter scale. So I was sitting there with a dick as hard as diamonds on the bed. And Tiffany and Stephanie went over to me, right in front of me, and they started kissing each other. And I was just like, coughing my lungs out, because I was just so shocked. I was like, "Oh shit, alright, this is good." And I was just sitting back and relaxed and watching these 2 sisters make out. And I was just like, wow, this is really interesting. I'm really enjoying this. Well, boy howdy, isn't this real zoot? And I decided, maybe I'll join in on the action. So I went over to Tiffany and I said, "Hey honey, leave some for me." And she said, "Oh, you're so cute. Back away, Buster." And I said, "Ooh, playing hard to get, are we?" And Stephanie started to giggle, and I said, "Oh, you like it when I am funny, right?" And she goes, "Well, yeah, it's, if you're funny, of course I'm gonna like it." And I said, "Well, okay, Jesus Christ, come on." So basically, I started making out with Tiffany and Stephanie at the same time, and it was really insane. And all of a sudden, I hear a knock at the door, and I freeze. It was Eric. He opens the door, and he looks at us. And I go, "Holy shit, Eric, it's not what it looks like." And he goes, "Oh my God, Tim, come on." And I said, Eric, come on, you don't have to be this way." And he goes, "No, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the fact that you didn't let me in on this action. And I said, Eric, this is amazing. I fucking love college. And then I graduated.
So Eric's incest.
So that was my first gay experience. Two gay sisters kissing in front of me and making out with me. It was pretty good.
That was the best thing I've ever heard in my god awful life.
So is Eric
Guys,
inbred?
can we sing a song all together?
It's a shame too, because Eric turned out to be a raging homo.
Get out.
It was a day when I was probably around 17 years old. I was a junior in high school, and everything was really swell, and things were going well. But a couple things were wrong. I had a couple of autistic friends. One went by the name MC Shrek, and I kinda didn't want to be his friend anymore. But he was my only friend, and I've been friends with him since the 6th grade. I guess I kinda felt sorry for him, because he was really autistic and no one liked him. But I decided it would be better to not let my reputation be ruined by such an abnormal man. So I decided to cut all contact and go our own separate ways. And as soon as I did that, I realized that my popularity in school was on the rise. And everyone realized that I was actually a pretty neat guy with a lot to offer. I was sweet, I was funny, I was a nice guy and genuinely helpful. I was a smart man with a plan for anything. So that night, this girl, her name was Megan. And she was a real looker. I mean, I gotta tell ya, the tits on her were like double D's, plus 3 more D's. It was like a quintal D. So I walked up to her and I said, "Hey Megan, what's going on?" She goes, "Not much. Tim, I was wondering, you know, if you wanted to," and I was like, "Fuck me." And she was like, "Oh, whoa. Come on, not yet. I mean, come on, take me out to dinner." And I was like, "Oh, okay, you want me to spend money on you? Well, okay, fine. The condom should be enough." And she said, "Yeah, but, you know, I'm hungry." And I said, fine. You can eat my penis." And she goes, "No? Come on." And I said, "Well, tell you what. I'm a little bit hungry for that cat that's in your pocket." And she goes, "What, are you making fun of me?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She goes, "What, it's because I'm Chinese?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not making a racist joke." And she said, "Yes, you are." And then she started to tear up and cry. And I was like, "Oh, come on, Megan, don't be so..." And then she walked away, and I just smacked myself in the head with a straight-up facepalm. I knew I fucked up, but I really still wanted to eat that pussy, because I was hungry, and I knew that I couldn't eat until I've tasted that sweet, sweet pussy. So, I devised a tactic. I was going to go ahead to her house in the middle of the night, dressed as a complete and utter shadow in the night, so that nobody could see me. Not even her, because she had, you know, squinty eyes, so she could barely see him anyways. Hee hee. So, I went into her house in the late of night. I opened up the window, and I crawled in, and I said, "Megan, guess who it is?" And she woke up, and immediately started to scream. And she said, "Who is in my house? Who are you?" And I said, "Shh," just putting my finger to her lips. And she looked at me, still tears bubbled in her eyes as she remembered that terrible memory from earlier that day. And I said, "Megan, you know what we have to do." And that's when she looked at me and smiled. She said, "All right, I have just what you need." And what she did is that she reached under her covers and pulled out her cat, Mittens. She then took a knife from her desk drawer and stuck it into the neck of this cat and immediately started to gut it. And I was like, "Holy shit, Megan, what are you doing? Holy shit!" And she said, "Trust me, it's a Chinese delicacy." And I said, "Oh my God." And she said, "You said you wanted to eat my pussy." And I said, "Oh God, Jesus Christ." And the blood was everywhere, it was all over me, and the cat was still purring even though it was slaughtered on the ground. And I said, "The intestines are everywhere, holy fuck." And I was just screaming. And she said, "Come on, don't be such a square." And I said, "Oh, I guess you're right." And that's when I took a bite, and we've been dating ever since.
So you didn't cook it? You didn't cook it?